Hey, what's up, everybody? It looks like ADA has officially broke above its downward resistance line. It did so a few days ago, but I wanted to wait and let it really marinate in there and confirm. And we got it. So this is a really, really good thing. This tells me that it is increasing the probability of a retracement, which is exactly what I've been believing. And let's see if it comes true. But essentially, we've been in this downtrend, right? We've been back testing these previous supports that go back a long time. I mean, you're going back 2022. So this is a very, very key area here for Theta. And, we got the breakout, which is very important, right? And now we have this crashing structure, which is really just, crashing coming down to retest these key areas. But the crashing structure itself is, in my opinion, a completed crashing structure. For example, when you look at Bitcoin during its bear market of 2022 all the way down to 2023, you see some interesting behavior and structure there highlighted in all the different colors. And when you compare that to what we see in Theta, it's actually the exact same thing, just on a smaller scale. So we've been correcting for over 150 days. I think it's plenty of time for this type of correction. We have the correct amount of waves, right? So when I put them side by side, you can kind of see everything from the pump here down to the dump, right, into the bull flag, down right there, right? You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got wave 3 coming back into wave 4, and then you sweep the lows up to 4, sweep the lows. And what's really, really, really cool is even the recovery. Look at that little thing right there. It looks like a little triangle or a little teepee, or that little kind of like a wave 1, as you would say, really. But when you look at it and you compare it, I mean, it's almost the same here. So, uh, you know, I think it's looking pretty good. So if that's the case, right? This is all theory. This is not financial advice. This doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. I could be totally wrong, and this thing can go to zero. I mean, you just don't know. But what we're doing here is trying to figure out, based off, human behavior and how markets move, what the next move should be. So when you use structures like this alongside TD sequential, Elliott wave, and just basic support resistance, fib retracements, I mean, you can kind of get an idea, fractals, right? You can kind of get an idea of what the next move is going to be, as far as really comes down to what the price is doing. There's only a few things, right? Either the price is in a bull market, or the price is in a bear market, or the price is making its way into a retracement at the tail end of the bear market, or right, or it could be bull market, or it's going into some type of consolidation or reaccumulation, right, before the next cycle, right? So things move in cycles. So, when we can compare all this, it kind of gives me the impression, not just Theta. I'm just using Theta as an example. This goes for all of the altcoins, right? I mean, most of them that have this similar type of move, right? I mean, some of them are going to be very strong going up, some of them are going to be very weak, and some of them might not do anything, right? So it's all about picking the right ones. Now that's up for you to decide. I cover three. I don't think, having 20 different altcoins is going to make you more wealthy than having a solid three, four, maybe even five altcoins that you know what I mean? So, for me, I think Theta and XRP are at my top of the list there. I mean, obviously, you go Theta Fuel. I'm thinking Matic. I'm thinking Fetch. I mean, Fetch lately has been killing it. I guess it's AI stuff, so that thing's looking really interesting. I mean, I like QNT, I like XLM. I mean, there's a lot of them out there, but uh, you really can't go wrong with the big names. I mean, if you're picking the top 100, I mean, they're the 100 for the reason, right? Top 100 for the reason. Now, the smaller the cap, right, the more riskier it is, but it could be more potentially rewarding, right? Because the market cap is a lot smaller, thus meaning it's like when you throw a rock in a pool versus throwing a rock in the ocean, you can see the splash in the pool, but if you throw it into Bitcoin, you're not going to see it. It's going to be like a little tiny grain of sand, like barely visible, right? It's not going to make a splash. That's why I'm not really in the Bitcoin sort of maxi camp, because I think ultimately, even if Bitcoin goes to $200,000, the percentage value is still smaller than, for example, XRP simply going to $3, $4, $5, $6, right? Or Theta getting back to the all-time high. I mean, that's in itself is quite some percentage points there. So I think altcoins are definitely going to have the advantage. The trick, though, is to, when you're in a bear market, you don't really want to be holding alts, but when you're sort of in this, reaccumulation, or sorry, this bottoming area, that's when you really want to be adding to the core position, or at least I think. Could we go lower? Yeah, we totally could. Is it likely? I mean, not. I don't think so. I really don't. But even if we did go lower, it's all about DCA, right? So we got a dollar cost average, because you really don't know, but we can count waves, right? So let's say we did have to go down one more time. All it does is increase the probability that that next wave for sure is the bottom, right? Because ultimately, when you have a big crash, you need some type of retracement. See how Bitcoin had 5 waves down? It went into a retracement, right? It came back 50%. It consolidated in a wave two, right? And then it continued higher. So ultimately, that's what we're looking for. So there we go. Look at that. I mean, it's pretty beautiful. We still got a lot of work to do, but this is a step definitely in the right direction. Now we could come back down. We're getting a little bit extended here. I mean, we've been literally going up since September 6th, so it's September 20th, right? Tomorrow will be the 21st, the last day of summer, right? And also my birthday. Come on, all I want for my birthday is a $2,500 Theta. Come on, crypto gods. Would you be willing to do it for me? That would be a great gift. No, but seriously, I think we're gonna get some beautiful prices over the next, I would imagine, several months, especially once this election is figured out. Because that's really the thing. I mean, we got what, 45 days left until the election, and then probably another couple months of trying to figure out who wins. When election, I think, should be the same day voting, right? It's election day. Everybody votes. We count the votes. We have a winner by the end of the night. I mean, or worst case, into midnight. But that's it. Like, no going day after day after day trying to find the votes and trying to count them. That's where things get corrupt and twisted, and that's exactly what happened last time. And I'm pretty sure it's going to happen again. But this time people are watching. This time people are engaged. This time it's going to be interesting. So, but I think it could create a lot of chaos, and that chaos could have an effect on the markets. So, and if that's the case, then we could see some big potential opportunity arising, right? So, but we got 45 days. A lot could happen in 40 days, 40, 50 days. So, like what? Well, if we get a little three-way pullback here and we turn on the bull market support band, and let's say we pop the bull market support band here, right? And we get going maybe up to $1.90, $2. And I've talked about this this scenario many times where we have a 7-wave crashing structure. Usually after 7 waves, you come up, create a little bit of a base, you break the downward resistance line, and then you start flagging out in here, right? Allow the bull market support band to sort of wrap around and then sort of back test into it. So maybe, right, we get up here, then we have, the election somewhere up here, causes some chaos, pushes the price down into the bull market support band, chaos gets figured out, and then we just go berserk. I mean, there's many different possibilities, but I think the most rational is obviously some type of retracement back to at least the 50% of this previous wave. So about $2.36 minimum. I mean, minimum, right? That's what we want to see. So, breaking above the downward resistance line was just another step in the right direction. And then also, when you add to that, let's add to that. So if I go to the 2-week chart and I look at it, what do you see? You see a perfected TD sequential. You have a 9 buy on the 2-week chart, and it's perfected. And also, you can see just how many red candles you have. I mean, red, 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 red. Statistically speaking, this becomes exhausted, right? Sellers give up. And where do sellers give up? Back at support. And where are we? Back at support, right? And so enough time has elapsed. Remember, price corrects not only through price, but through time. And both, right? I mean, so I think both requirements have been reached. Now it's all about establishing support, buyer stepping up to the plate, which we can clearly see that's happening. The low here was at about 89 cents. And if we take a measurement here from that low to the red dots, that's a 63%, almost, let's call it 65%. I mean, that's pretty decent right there for establishing a base, right? And then also trending sideways. Sideways is often good. Sometimes people think, oh, if it doesn't bounce right away, it's no good. No, when you come down and you just go sideways for a little bit, it's what traders are doing is they don't want it to go right away. So what they do, right, especially these large whales, is they like to build positions by ranging the price, right? So from going to the top of the range back to the bottom of the range, right? Not letting it escape and go searching, and or searching for liquidity, right? So I think there's a good potential here for the price to start moving higher. Doesn't mean today, doesn't mean tomorrow, doesn't mean next week, but I think over the next month or two, we should start seeing some movement back to the upside, right? So that's all I'll say about the 2-week chart. Remember, this is a very important buy. This is not just a regular buy signal. This is a very rare buy signal, and it has to be respected, especially because it's a 2-week chart, right? I mean, this isn't even a weekly 9, it's a 2-week 9, and it's the only perfected one Theta's ever had, right? Back over here, it wasn't perfect, but it still led to a rally a little bit after the fact, and same goes with the previous 9. So let's look at the smaller time frames here. And you can see we are moving on up. I mean, look at the 9 on the 4-hour. It did a pretty good job. We came up, we had a 9, pull back. Came up, had a 9, had an expanded flat pullback. Came up, had another 9, pulled back, starting to break above again. Right? The 9 can tell you a couple things. Either it's a reversal or it's just a pit stop before the next wave higher, right? So how do you know which 9 is going to be the actual reversal? Well, you got to use Elliott wave, right? You got to use divergences. You got to use, we're coming up here to resistance. So, you would think we would get a little bit of resistance. You also got the bull market support band coming down. We definitely need to get above that. So, it makes it a little bit challenging as we get up here. I mean, we got a 1, 2. I mean, you could look at this as 3, 4, and now we're getting 5, right? And we want a 5-way move, right? The market moves in 3s and 5s. So definitely moves in odd numbers. So let's look at the possibility of another wave to the upside, right? So if this, I mean, there's a few different ways you can count it, but if this is 1, 2, and then you have like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's 1, 2, all of this is 3, and then you come down, that's 4, right? So now I need, this is the 5th wave, so now I want to see 5 waves up. So I got 1, 2, this looks like 3, we got an expanded flat here for wave 4, and now look, it looks like we're getting wave 5. Right, so you got to be a little bit careful here. This thing could be coming up pretty soon. So if that's a wave 5, then we got to zoom in a little bit more to see the subwaves in that 5th wave. And so far, I don't see any. It's not really clear. Let me zoom in a little bit more. See, this is where you got to be very careful, because when you zoom in, it's a lot of times it's a little bit deceiving. But I would look at this probably as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we come down and get 2, and then we get 3, 4, and 5, and that would be the 5th of the 5th. Something like that I could see happening here. Another way we could do it is by simply just taking a fib, pulling it down to here, and a 1618 would be $1.46, $1.47. So that could be a potential reversal, or a potential area to look to, maybe possibly short. I'm probably not going to, because I really want to see if we can get back above that bull market support band. So, and that price is, I mean, right now it's falling, but that's about $1.58 to $1.48. And what do you know? I said $1.47, so it could be that we get stalled out, from the lower part of the bull market support band and that 1618 extension of this 5th wave here. So that's, and then we should expect a bit of a continuation. But what would be really nice if we could just pop through that and get a beautiful breakout extended 5th, and then start flagging out, right into the bull market support band. And as that bull market support band starts to, curve around, we start to develop some support in here, right? And then we can continue higher. So that's one way we can look at it. Is obviously we need a correction coming up. So what would be looking for? Well, we want to see this finish, and we want to see, and we turn on the RSI, you can start to see we're getting a little bit of bearish divergence, right? This is the 3rd wave, between the 3rd and the 5th. So I want to see on the microstructure this get a little bit higher, or it could be done now, but I want to see evidence of that. But regardless, we got to wait and see, and then from there, what are we looking for, right? We want to see an A, B, C. We want to see a 3-way pullback, right? And then be looking to long it back to the upside. So that's really what we want to see. So what that would be, if that's the case, is that this would be a 1. See, everybody's looking at this as a 3-way move, and they probably think we're going down. This is a 3-way pullback, but a lot of times it could be a flat, right? So you got to always watch out for the flats. The flat structures in Elliott wave are the biggest deceptional tactics that traders put, that or the markets create, right, is a flat structure. Basically, an expanded flat is basically a double fake out, right? I mean, it really tricks you. So you have this wave one, you pull back into a wave two, right? Or I'm sorry, you actually I would have to go to a smaller time frame. You could see we have, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that's your wave one. And then you have a pretty massive wave two, right? But most people are thinking this is wave two and this is wave three, but it's not. This is actually A. This is B, right? And then we start coming down. And once people realize we're crashing, then they realize, okay, this is an ABC and we're going to go down to the downside. But what ends up happening is we come down, we break this liquidity, people go short, and then it reverses again on you, right? Because here you think we're going to go higher in a third wave. Here you think we're going to go down because of the three-way pullback. But what's actually happening is an ABC, it's an expanded flat, then it continues higher, right? So you got to always watch that. So if that's the case, and this is a wave one, let me do a better job at drawing that there. If this is a wave one, and then this is a wave two, right? Then obviously we're making our way into wave three. And if that's the case, then we need 5 waves in wave three, right? And right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're about to get 5. So that's going to be the first wave of the third wave, right? So then we're going to pull back. We get wave two. Maybe this goes higher. Maybe it goes a lot higher before we pull back. I mean, we have to wait and see. Right? We get a wave two. So wave one, wave two, and then we go higher into the third wave. And that's a big, big, big wave there, right? And I would have to even zoom out to even see this here. There we go. Let me just pull one of these guys up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hopefully a massive 5th wave. So yeah, it's gonna take time though. So, but that's pretty much it for Theta. It's very bullish, right? It's very bullish right now. Obviously, this is a major inflection point. We're right at resistance, so we have to respect that, right? We can always come all the way back down, and now we have to talk if this is the high, or maybe we go a little bit higher, but regardless, we can actually come all the way back down to like $1.20 and do a 618 retrace, right? So somewhere down here, right? So if that's the case, then, opportunity. And that would be really back testing this area right in here and then continuing higher. So be aware of that, but also understand where we are. We're potentially at a bottom here. So if that is the case, we want to see a base get built in here, right? So oscillation is a good thing before a breakout. So it could be volatile in this range until we break these key areas of resistance, specifically this bull market support band and that $1.50 area. So let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is looking okay. I mean, it's looking good. I mean, it's we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got a wave 1. We had an ABC, beautiful. 2. We had a 1, 2, 3. This could be 4, right? Then we come up and get 5. Maybe get a big 5. That would be nice. And that would be 3, right? So, and then the third wave, I like that. Look at that. We break further away from the bull market support band. And then what do? We start flagging out for a 4th wave. 4, and then let's go get that 5th wave, right? And that could be our 3rd wave. So we would have wave 1, and then this would be A, B, C, and all of this would be wave 3, and then obviously we had a bigger correction flagging out, and then we would get that 5th wave to the upside. That could get us past 100K, right? And then that would be probably it. And then we would probably have some distribution in here, and then hopefully all of that time could elapse into one of the biggest alt seasons ever that will completely melt your face off with unbelievable expectations. Unbelievable targets. That would be in this distribution, right? Because when Bitcoin goes into distribution, a lot of people rotate, right? Because, Bitcoin is a very big market cap, trillions, right? I mean, it's huge. So if we get to 100K, it's only going to be that much bigger. And people are going to be rotating their $100,000 Bitcoin. And where are they going to celebrate? In altcoins. They're going to swap it into altcoins. And that's when we're going to see things like Theta just go completely berserk, XRP, right? So, there's a lot to look forward to. Now, all of this is going to happen. It's going to happen. The difference is, when is it going to happen? It's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It will happen. Not financial advice. I could be wrong, but I'm probably not, because obviously it's crypto, right? If you believe in the long-term vision of crypto, it's not going anywhere. It's only going to get bigger. So, but the difference is, do we do it now, right? Because we need to be doing it now. Why? Because when you look at Bitcoin, this is a wave 1, we flag out for a wave 2. This is a wave 3, we flag out for a wave 4. What comes next? Wave 5. If we don't get wave 5, we're just going to get it at a later time. So if we don't get wave 5, we would then break down into reaccumulation. We would back test wave 1. We would complete, here's your flag 1, flag 2, and basically flag 3, right? You're building this steel support embedded into the structure, the fabric of the price, so that when it continues higher, because it will continue higher, basically it's strengthening it, creating more sort of long-term sustainability in the price of Bitcoin and crypto as a whole. I mean, so I think this is a very, very interesting chart because we're at a major inflection point. So I've given the counts on Bitcoin. I'm not going to get into all of those again, but basically this could be a 1-2, or we have 3 up and this becomes 3 down before getting 5 back up. So, we have 3, that's a W, 3, that's an X, right? And then this could be another sort of A, B, C, or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or if it's not finished, then this is 3. This whole thing becomes 3 down, right? We have 3 up, 3 down, and then we would get 5 or 3 later on. But we would take out this liquidity and then go, right? And if we got something like that, we could have another altcoin sort of mini style capitulation. So we just have to be careful right around here. But ultimately, if we did something like that, it would still constitute being a 4th wave, right? Because you would have 3 down, 3 up, and a flat, and then 1, 2, 3 back down. But the higher this thing goes, the less likely that becomes. So we're just going to have to wait and see how that plays out. But it's looking very nice right now. So when we look at the small time frames here, you can see, let me draw a little trend line on this top line here. You can see we're sort of holding above this area, right? This bull market support band, right? And look at that 3-wave pullback. So let's see if we can count this guy here. We got a 1, and then we got an A, B, C, so that's 2. Okay, we got another 1, we got a 2. This looks like 3, and then I would say that's so that would be wave 1, wave 2. All of that's wave 3, right? So that's wave 4, and then there's your wave 5. So that could be wave 1, right? And then we have an A, B, C for wave 2, and then we have a 1, 2. This looks like it could be a wave 3, or maybe wave 3 is not finished, right? You have an A, B, C here, and now we're getting wave 5, right? So, there's a couple different ways you can count that, but ultimately it's looking pretty good. So we have another idea here where this could be 1, 2, all of this is 3. We have an ABC, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get one more push up to the upside, and that's our wave 5. I think I like that one better. And that whole thing would be a wave 1, right? And then from there, like I said earlier, then we would start flagging out up here, right? Building a base on the bull market support band, and then launching off in October, right? It's not October, it's October, hopefully. We'll see. All right, so let's look at Matic. Haven't looked at Matic in a little bit. Looks like complete garbage, trash, hola. No, I'm just kidding. It looks okay. It's not the best one out there. It did have a really nice pump back in August. Very nice pump, but it's got a lot of work to do to get back up there. The daily chart, when I look at the crashing structure, it again looks kind of like Bitcoin's crashing structure, right? Where you come down, you start flagging out, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You come up, you roll down, you take out the low, right? Then you do this little TP thing, you kind of work your way up, and then you can, you start doing something like that. And that's usually how it will go. Same for Theta, same for Matic, same for ADA, same for many, many coins, Filecoin. That's the overall consensus of what I'm thinking here. Is this is a crash, and we're building a base. It might not take this route. We might play around in here a little bit, but ultimately we're going to go higher in a retracement. Could we go lower? Absolutely. We could totally continue going down. And if that's the case, then I would look at this as 1, 2. All of this is 3. We have an ABC. We have a sort of a big fourth wave here, or it could be 3 up, 3 down. It could be a big fourth wave, and then we get that 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's no evidence to think that yet, right? Just like there's, no evidence to think that we're going up, but there actually is a lot of evidence. I just put out a video, top 10 reasons why I think we're going higher in a retracement. But that could take some time, right? There's a lot of different reasons why, mainly because it looks complete. So let's take a look at XRP. So XRP looks like it doesn't look so nice right now. It looks a little bit doji-ish, right? It came up here and now it's like struggling. It's like dojiing out here. So I think we're probably got to come down, unfortunately. And it looks like we already did come down a little bit. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if we come down and retest the bull market support band. It looks like we got almost about 5 waves. We'll jump in and talk about it here. But look, the overall consensus here with XRP is that this thing's been correcting for over a year. It's been correcting for 6 years, for goodness sake, but this specific structure, right? This A, we have a B right here, and now this is our C. So there's your three-wave move, A, B, C, and that's a 1 year long three-wave correction. That's correcting this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that's your wave 1, that's your wave 2, or this is your wave A and this is your wave B. But regardless, we're looking for a C or a 3. And so far, we got that first wave of a 5-leg move to the upside. So when you look closely, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then we have 3 down, we have 3 up, and we have 3 back down. This is a very beautiful 3-wave correction. Now, if that's not the count, then this could be a 1, 2. This could be a 1, another 2. A beautiful 3-wave correction. I mean, that's a perfect 3-wave correction, right? And we're back testing the bull market support band. So if this is another 1, then we should get another 2, and that's when we should start exploding, right? So that would be your shoulder, this could be a head, and now we kind of go down into another shoulder here, potentially. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Very bullish, in my opinion. So let's look a little bit closer. Now, again, in the short term, I think we could see some resistance and some downside. So let's look at the 4-hour here. Now there's a couple different ways you can look at it. We can say 1, 2, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1, 2, right? And all of that's 3. And look at this. We have a beautiful A, B, C. I mean, that's perfect. That's a nice 3-wave correction right there. So there's your wave 4, right? And now, what the heck is this? Right? Is that a wave 5? It could be a wave 5, and it could be truncated. And that's another thing that we have to be aware of too, is truncations. So, you know, it kind of seems like it would be, or potentially another hit to the high. So it looks like this could be wave 1. So we got, actually, let me zoom in a little bit more. Let me first take everything off the screen. All right, let me zoom in a little bit more, and let's try to see if we can figure this one out here. So again, look at the 3-wave pullback here, right? We got an impulse to the upside, a 3-wave pullback. So this looks like, to me, 1, 2, all of this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Perfect. So that could be wave, either that's finished, right? Because remember, we're looking for 5 waves in the 5th wave, and we got it. So that could be finished. Or this is going to be extended 5th wave, and all of that is just wave 1 of wave 5. And now we have an A, B, C pullback. So this is wave 2 of wave 5. Okay, and now we're going into wave 3 of 5. But remember, wave 3 needs 5 waves. So we have 1, 2, right? Let's go up and get 3, 4, and 5. That would be wave 3 of 3, right? And then we would get 4, and then we would get 5, right? And then when I zoom out, there's your 5th wave right there. So if I actually, let me draw it a little better here. So it'd actually be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that whole thing would be wave 5, right? So we have a wave 1, 2, right? We have a 3, A, B, C, 4, 5. And then we start flagging out as the bull market support band starts to rise up a little bit. And then we start flagging out, back testing it, continuing higher. That's what I would really like to see, but we'll find out. Or, again, the 5th wave could be truncated. If it's truncated, then that means the 5th wave is done, which means we want a 5-wave or a ABC pullback. So right now we have 3 down, right? Or I'm not sure. It's too early to tell. We have to wait and see. But that could be 3. But I would imagine it's going to be a lot bigger than that, right? This could be 3 up, and then we can get 3 down. We can get some bigger type of ABC here, right? But to me, it just doesn't look completely finished yet. So I'm not sure. We're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer here, because again, right, we're in a range, and when you're in a range, you're oscillating to the upside, to the downside, to the upside, to the downside, so we're consolidating. So we really have to let the market do its thing. But if I had to guess what it's gonna be, I think either we're gonna get this 5th wave or we're gonna get a ABC pullback. But regardless of that, we should get continuation once this thing's finished. So that's what I'm looking for, continuation. Another thing as well is it's very difficult to gauge as well. Why? Because we're in the middle of a retracement here, right? Look at that. We're right at the 618 of this swing move to the downside. So this area has got to take some time to work it out. Plus, it's Friday. It's that we're going into the weekend. Usually, volume slows down, right? We got the weekly close coming up. So next week is going to be another very, very interesting week to see how this is going to shape up, right? On one hand, again, when you look at Theta, we've been pumping. Right, we've been pumping for quite some time, since September 6th, right? So how many days is that from September 6th, right? So we're at about 14, 15 days. So we've been pumping for 2 weeks, right? So eventually we're going to need a bit of a correction, right? You can see we've been, oscillating down, back up, back down, back up. So eventually we're going to make that down wave again. But this time we don't want it to be so bearish looking. We want it to be much more corrective, much more flaggy looking, right? Like this correction. This was an expanded flat here, or even something like this, kind of like a falling wedge, right? Or even just a beautiful 3-way pullback here. But all in all, I mean, it looks pretty bullish, right? I mean, it's still trying to push to the upside. So I wouldn't be surprised if this thing continues higher for the price of Theta. Now, if that means anything, right, XRP definitely looks a lot weaker. But here's the thing. The reason why I think XRP is a little bit weaker right now is because, watch this. When I put Theta and XRP side by side here, right, and I just reset the chart. Hold on one second. There you go. You can see right there, right? I mean, they both came up. They're both about the same here. But the difference is Theta fell a lot more than XRP. So XRP's always up here. Theta's down here. Theta's down here. Or now, yeah. And then our XRP's down here. Right, Theta's up here. So now we have XRP up here, right? XRP's been up here trading for a while Theta's been down here. Percentage terms, right? If I put this to percent, look at the difference in percent. I mean, that's a big difference right there. So yeah, if I just go by percentage, you can see we're up 12%. Theta's down 20%. I mean, it's all subjective, right? I mean, I can change it overall. I mean, if I zoom it out even further, look how high XRP is compared to where Theta is. So we can say, well, maybe that makes Theta even more bullish because it has a lot more catching up to do, right? I mean, you can even see that down here where Theta continued to go down, but XRP was trending up. You can see that divergence right there, right? And then you can see Theta, what happened when XRP was here. Theta just came up and took it all and just was a big champion right there, right? But then what goes up comes down a lot harder. But XRP sort of remains stable in the middle while Theta was sort of oscillating here. XRP sort of stable in here, right? So it's building that base, getting ready for the break. So that's one way we can look at it. But zooming in here on the 10-minute chart, I mean, we're dumping pretty big right here. I mean, we're going down. So on the 10-minute chart, let's see. I mean, this could be, again, this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this, I like, either way you look at it, I like this three-way pullback. I mean, if I just kind of zoom in right here, I mean, I like this three-way move. I don't know what we got. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Yeah, we got a nice three-way move, and now we have this impulse here, right? I mean, that looks like a pretty big impulse to me on the small time frames, of course. It looks like a five-wave move. 1, 2, 3, sort of a running flat here for 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, maybe a C, or it can do something like that. But it looks, maybe we could do a wave 1, wave 2 here. So I don't know, I'm just theorizing. It's, you know, you're on the 1-minute chart. It's very difficult to gauge, but I just like to, just for fun, to see if we can get sort of any indication here. Another thing we can do is just pop some trend lines up here. Look at this. I mean, we got a trend line right there, so I would wait for that, right? You got another one right about there. But when I look at the 1 hour, I mean, it looks bullish. Doesn't it look bullish? I mean, we could correct a little bit further down, but it still looks pretty bullish. And another thing is, too, I mean, just, whoops. Just look at this. That's a nice ABC. I can't get over it. So if that's a 1 and we get a little 2 here, let's come up for a 3 and have a little inverse head and shoulders here. I mean, maybe we can get something like that going on. Otherwise, this could be 3 down, and then we get 3 back up, and then we get 3 back down later. So it turns into a larger, and I think that makes more sense, right? So we have a 5-wave leg up. Let me do that one more time. We have a 5-leg move up, and then we have 3, 3, and then 3. So maybe some sort of bigger 3-wave move. So wave 1, wave 2, and then we get that wave 3 later here. So we come down here, test some support, and then also this rising demand line somewhere down in here, and then shoots us to the upside, right? Or you could say A, B, C, D, E, maybe a triangle there, continue higher, right? So until this trend line breaks, I won't think of anything of it. I mean, we could, again, come down. As long as we hold above the bull market support band, you know, we're doing pretty good. So even if we have to come back down here, still technically speaking, it's decent. So anyway, that'll do it for this video. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Please hit that like button if you can, and have a great weekend, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.